Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Homemade Chocolate Truffles in 15 different flavors, part 5. If you haven't seen my parts 1, 2, 3, or 4 videos, I'll put links in the description box so you can go check them out. And every part has 15 different flavors, so there are now tons of flavors to choose from. And all the flavors and their timestamps are in the description box, so you can just jump to the flavor that you would like to see. And also, if you haven't seen my community posts, I'm going to be doing a Q&A video soon. So if you have a question for me, ask me in the comments of my community post, or even in the comments of this video. Let's get started with these truffles. In order to make truffles, you have to temper chocolate. It means you can only heat it to a certain temperature for it to set properly. If you heat the chocolate too hot, it will take a very long time to set. And it will set very soft and melts easily, especially in your hands when you hold it. I have a video showing how to temper chocolate, and I'll link to it in the description box. And my stove heats low enough that I can just melt the chocolate right in the saucepan, as low as 80 degrees. If yours heats too hot, don't melt it straight in the saucepan. First, we have triple chocolate truffles. A chocolatey truffle with a white chocolate, milk chocolate, and dark chocolate ganache. I'll be giving all the good tips in this truffle flavor, and you can use these same tips in any of the other flavors too. Chop up the dark chocolate into small pieces. Add it into a small bowl. Chop up the milk chocolate. Add it into a separate small bowl. And do the same thing for the white chocolate. I bought these already in small pieces, so I don't need to chop it up. Then add the heavy cream into a small saucepan. And heat it on the stove until it just starts to boil. Once it's just about boiling, remove it from the heat. Add 4 tablespoons of the hot cream into the bowl with the dark chocolate. Add 3 tablespoons into the bowl with the milk chocolate. And 2 tablespoons into the bowl with the white chocolate. Push the chocolates down so it's all submerged in the heavy cream, using a different spoon for each flavor. Let them sit for a minute so the hot heavy cream melts the chocolate. Then stir each one until well combined and smooth. If there are still lumps of chocolate when the mixture has cooled, you can heat it in the microwave to heat it up again and melt the lumps. It should only need 10 to 20 seconds depending on how much mixture there is. Then they need to refrigerate for at least 4 hours or overnight until they're really nice and firm, or to make them set much faster, pour the ganache into a plastic bag. Press out the excess air. Seal the bag. And spread it out flat. Place it into the fridge and it should set in just 1 hour. And repeat that for the rest of them. When they're set, remove them from the fridge and they should be nice and firm. Starting with the white chocolate ganache, rip open the bag. Scrape out all the ganache. Scoop out half a teaspoon. And place it onto a sheet of parchment paper. I have the parchment paper on top of a cake board so I can pick it up and move it later. Do the same thing for the milk chocolate ganache, scooping out 1 teaspoon of the mixture. And do the same thing for the dark chocolate ganache, scooping out half a tablespoon or 1.5 teaspoons of the mixture. Place it into the freezer for 15 minutes until they're nice and firm, but not until they're solid. Remove them from the freezer. Roll the white chocolate ganache into a smooth ball. Do the same thing for the milk chocolate ganache. Poke your finger into it. And add the ball of white chocolate ganache into it, and wrap the milk chocolate ganache around it. Don't worry if it's not completely enclosed. Roll the dark chocolate ganache into a ball, flatten it down, and wrap it around the milk chocolate ganache. Again, don't worry if it's not completely enclosed. It may only cover half of the milk chocolate ganache. Do that for the rest of them. And place them into the freezer for at least an hour until they're frozen solid. Remove them from the freezer. Dip them into tempered milk chocolate, or use whatever chocolate you like. You can even use a mixture of milk and dark for a good balance of sweet and bitter. Tap off the excess. And place them onto a sheet of parchment paper and let the chocolate set. If there are any spots that aren't covered in chocolate, then pick up each truffle and dip that spot into the chocolate again so it's covered. Then you can decorate them however you like. Make each truffle look different so you know which ones are which. I'm dipping one half of the truffle into some tempered white chocolate, letting it set, and then dipping the top into some tempered dark chocolate and letting that set. Then trim off any excess chocolate from the bottom so it's neat. And that's how to make triple chocolate truffles. Next, we have chocolate marble truffles, a sweet white chocolate ganache balanced out with a swirl of bitter dark chocolate ganache. Add the white chocolate into a small bowl, and the chopped dark chocolate into another bowl. Heat the heavy cream on the stove until it starts to boil. Add 4 tablespoons of the hot cream into the white chocolate, and 2 tablespoons into the dark chocolate. Push it down. Let it sit for a minute, and stir until completely melted. Heat it in the microwave if it's not all melted. Spoon the dark chocolate ganache into the white chocolate ganache, and gently swirl them, scooping down to the bottom and back up to the top. Don't stir it too much, the swirls must be kept intact. And this one can't be placed into a bag and spread out flat or it will continue to mix. So just wrap it in plastic wrap and refrigerate it for at least 4 hours or overnight. Remove it from the fridge. Roll it into tablespoon-sized balls. Freeze until solid. Then for these truffles, I just tempered some white and dark chocolate, and add a couple spoons of the dark chocolate into the white chocolate. Poke a cake pop stick into the truffles. Dip it into the melted chocolate on an angle, letting it rest just on the surface, don't dip it all the way in, and twist it to cover it. And lift it out, and it will give a really nice marble effect on the outside. Place it back onto the parchment paper and let it set. And do that for the rest of them. Then twist the cake pop stick and pull it out. And that's how to make chocolate marble truffles. Next, we have Molten Chocolate Truffles, a chocolate ganache truffle with a runny molten chocolate center. Add the chopped chocolate into a small bowl. You can use any chocolate you like. I'm using 2/3 milk and 1/3 dark. I find that amount is the perfect balance of sweet and bitter. And add more chopped chocolate into a separate small bowl. This will be the molten chocolate center. Pour the hot heavy cream into the bowl with the larger amount of chocolate. And pour the hot milk into the bowl with the smaller amount of chocolate. Using milk instead of heavy cream for the molten center helps keep the ganache runny. Let them both sit for a minute. And stir them until the chocolate is melted. Pour them into a plastic bag. Spread it out flat. And refrigerate it until it's firm. When they're both chilled, if you would like a more runny chocolate center, you can add in a little more milk. Roll the truffle mixture into tablespoon-sized balls and poke your finger into the center to make an indent. Do that for the rest of them. And place them into the freezer along with the chocolate center for 30 minutes until firm but not solid. Remove them from the freezer. Rub the molten chocolate center to soften it a little. Take each truffle and press the edges between your fingers to make a deeper indent. Close most but not all of it. Pipe a little bit of the molten chocolate into the well. Wrap the truffle mixture around it to completely enclose the molten center. Place it back onto the parchment paper. And do that for the rest of them. This will be very messy, but it's definitely worth it. Then freeze until solid. Remove them from the freezer. Cover them in tempered chocolate. And let it set. Then I'm piping some dark chocolate on top of it in a bit of a drip effect. And these need to sit out at room temperature for at least 30 minutes so the center can get runny again. And that's how to make molten chocolate truffles. Next we have chocolate mousse truffles, a light, fluffy chocolate mousse truffle filling. Add the chopped chocolate into a small bowl. Add the hot, heavy cream. Let it sit for a minute. And stir until well combined and smooth. Then place it into the fridge for now until it's cold, but not until it's firm. Then into a small bowl, add in the cold, heavy cream and vanilla extract. And whip it with an electric mixer until it forms soft peaks. Try not to whip it to stiff peaks. Add in the cold ganache and fold it in gently until just combined. A mold is required for this truffle because the filling is too soft even when it's cold. So add some tempered chocolate into a mold. Spread it up the sides. Turn it over and shake out the excess so you get a thin, even coating of chocolate. Scrape off the excess chocolate from the top and leave it upside down on the parchment paper to set so the chocolate doesn't run down to the bottom and leave the top edge too thin. You can scrape the excess chocolate back into the bowl and use it again. Once the chocolate is set, pipe in some chocolate mousse, trying not to overfill it or you won't be able to seal it up properly. Add some more chocolate on top of it. Scrape off the excess and leave it to set. Then gently push each truffle out of the mold, trying not to break the truffle when you do. And that's how to make chocolate mousse truffles. Next, we have dark chocolate avocado truffles, not as rich as the other flavors because it's made with avocado instead of heavy cream, and it doesn't even taste like avocado. Cut an avocado in half going around the pit. Remove the pit. Scoop out the flesh and put it into a food processor or blender, or you can just mash it up with a fork. And blend it until it's smooth. Melt the dark chocolate in the microwave, taking it out and stirring it every 15 to 30 seconds so it's heating evenly. Then once it's all melted, add in the mashed avocado and vanilla extract. and mix them until they're combined. Cover it in plastic wrap or spread it out flat in a bag. And refrigerate it until it's firm. Remove it from the fridge. Roll it into tablespoon-sized balls. And this filling is firm enough that you can dip them into chocolates right away, so just cover them in tempered chocolate and let it set. And I'm coloring some white chocolates green and drizzling it on top. If you're going to be coloring the chocolate, you must use oil-based or powdered food coloring. If you use liquid or gel food coloring, it will make the chocolate seize, and I explained that in my tempering chocolate video. And that's how to make dark chocolate avocado truffles. Next we have chocolate fudge truffles, a creamy, dense, and chocolatey fudge recipe covered in chocolate. Add the chopped chocolate into a small heat-proof bowl. I'm using half milk and half dark. And add in the sweetened condensed milk. And heat them in the microwave for 30 seconds. Take it out and stir it. Heat it for 20 seconds. Take it out and stir it. Then 10 seconds and stir, and repeat 10-second bursts until it's completely melted. Pour the mixture into a small container lined with parchment paper. Spread it out evenly. Cover it in plastic wrap. And refrigerate it for a couple hours until it's firm. Remove it from the fridge. Cut it into small squares. Dip each one into some tempered chocolate. And let it set. And that's how to make chocolate fudge truffles. Next we have Nutella truffles, a chocolate ganache filling with Nutella mixed in. Add the chopped chocolate into a small bowl. Pour the hot heavy cream on top of it. Let it sit for a minute. And stir until combined and smooth. Add in the Nutella. And mix until combined. Pour it into a plastic bag. Spread it out flat. And refrigerate it until it's firm. Remove it from the fridge. Roll it into tablespoon-sized balls. And freeze until solid. Then cover them in tempered chocolate and let the chocolate set. Then I'm drizzling some tempered white chocolate on top of them. And that's how to make Nutella truffles. Next we have peanut butter and jelly truffles, a sweet peanut butter mixture with swirls of jelly. In a small bowl, add in the peanut butter and powdered sugar, and mix them until they're combined. Add in the jelly of your choice. I'm using strawberry. And swirl them together, trying not to mix it too much. Cover it in plastic wrap and refrigerate it until it's firm. It only takes about 30 minutes to an hour because it sets much faster than ganache. Remove it from the fridge. Roll it into tablespoon-sized balls. Freeze until solid. Cover each one in tempered chocolate. And let it set. Then decorate them how you like. I'm adding a spiral of white chocolate colored orange. And that's how to make peanut butter and jelly truffles. Next we have Chewy peanut caramel truffles, a homemade chewy caramel with salted peanuts added. This one is really good. Line a 9x5-inch loaf pan with aluminum foil, or you can use parchment paper. Lightly grease it, and set it aside for now. Then into a microwave-safe liquid measuring cup, measure out the heavy cream. Cut the butter into pieces. Add it into the heavy cream. And microwave them until the butter is melted and the mixture is hot. Watch it carefully and make sure it doesn't boil over. Set it aside for now. And measure out the peanuts so they're ready to go for when you need them. Then in a small or medium saucepan, add in the water, light corn syrup, and sugar, and heat them on the stove over medium-high heat until it comes to a boil. Stir it occasionally. Once it's boiling, you can stop stirring. Then use a pastry brush dipped in water to wash down any sugar crystals that may be on the sides of the pan. If you don't do this, it can cause the caramel to crystallize, or they can also burn. Add a candy thermometer and heat it until it gets up to 320 degrees. Don't stir the mixture as it's heating. That can also cause the caramel to crystallize. Once it's up to temperature, add in the cream and butter mixture a little at a time, stirring after each addition. It will bubble and steam a lot, so be careful. Keep stirring until well combined. Then continue heating it until it gets up to 240 degrees. That will make quite a soft caramel. If you want a more firm and chewy caramel, you can heat it up to 245 degrees. Once it's up to temperature, remove it from the heat. Add in the peanuts. If your peanuts are unsalted, add in some salt too. Mine are salted, so I don't need to. And mix until combined. Pour it into the prepared loaf pan. Shake and tap it a few times to get rid of any air bubbles. And set it aside to cool completely. It can take a few hours. Once it's completely cooled, lift it out of the pan. Remove the aluminum foil. And cut it into cubes. Cover each one in tempered chocolate. And let it set. Then decorate them how you like. And that's how to make chewy peanut caramel truffles. Next we have cotton candy truffles, a white chocolate ganache truffle flavored with cotton candy. Add the white chocolate into a small bowl. And pour in the hot heavy cream. Let it sit for a minute. And stir until combined. And microwave it if it's not completely melted. Then add in the cotton candy flavoring. And pink or blue food coloring. And mix until well combined. Add more flavoring if the flavor isn't strong enough. Cover it in plastic wrap or spread it out flat in a bag. And refrigerate until firm. Remove it from the fridge. Roll it into tablespoon-sized balls. Freeze until solid. Then for these truffles, add some tempered white chocolate into a small bowl. Drizzle in some pink and blue colored chocolate. Poke a cake pop stick into the truffles. Dip them into the chocolate on an angle, only letting it rest on the surface, and twist it to get a really nice marble effect. Place it onto the parchment paper and let the chocolate set. Add some more of the colored chocolate if it's running low. And that's how to make cotton candy truffles. Next we have sugar cookie truffles, crushed up sugar cookies mixed with cream cheese for a soft dough texture, and also has crunchy cookie crumbs. First, you're going to need sugar cookies, preferably ones that are crunchy because they will crush up into crumbs a lot better. I'll link to the recipe I'm using in the description box, and it doesn't matter what shape they are to start with because they're going to be crushed up anyway. So instead of making rolled sugar cookies, I'm doing drop cookies, and that's just scooping the cookie dough out onto a pan and baking it. Bake them for 8 to 12 minutes so they're a bit more crisp and it will have a nice texture in the truffles. Remove them from the oven and let them cool. Once they're cooled, add some into a food processor or blender, or place them into a plastic bag and crush them with a rolling pin. Blend them until broken up into crumbs. Add them into a small bowl. Add in some cream cheese. There isn't really a measurement needed for this. And use your hands to mix it together until it forms a soft Play-Doh consistency. If it's too dry, add in more cream cheese, and if it's too soft, add in more cookie crumbs. Roll the mixture into tablespoon-sized balls. Freeze until solid. Cover them in tempered white chocolate. And sprinkle some crushed up sugar cookies on top before the chocolate sets. And that's how to make sugar cookie truffles. Next, we have Peppermint Bark truffles, a peppermint flavored chocolate ganache filling with peppermint bark mixed in. Add the chopped chocolate into a small bowl. Pour in the hot, heavy cream. Let it sit for a minute. And stir until combined and smooth. Add in the peppermint extract. And mix it until it's combined. Cover the top in plastic wrap. Don't place it into a bag yet. And place it into the fridge for 15 minutes until the ganache is cold but not firm. Then you're going to need some peppermint bark. I showed how to make this in one of my videos and I'll link to it in the description box. And feel free to use as much or as little as you like, but not too much or the truffles won't hold together. Chop it up into small pieces. And put it into a coarse sieve to sift out all the super fine pieces. Remove the cold ganache from the fridge. Add in the chopped peppermint bark. And mix it until it's combined. Cover it in plastic wrap or spread it out flat in a plastic bag. And refrigerate it until firm. Remove it from the fridge. Roll it into tablespoon-sized balls. And freeze until solid. Cover them in tempered chocolate. Then decorate them how you like. And that's how to make peppermint bark truffles. Next we have lemon coconut truffles, a lemony truffle filling with shredded coconut. Add the white chocolate into a small bowl. And pour over the hot, heavy cream. Press it down. And stir it. Heat it in the microwave for 10 seconds at a time until melted and combined. We're using less heavy cream in this filling because there will be additional liquid added from the lemon juice, so it will look very thick and lumpy at this point, but it will come together later on. Add in the lemon zest. and lemon juice. Mix them together and heat them in the microwave for 10 seconds at a time until it comes together. Add in the shredded unsweetened coconut and mix it until it's combined. Cover it in plastic wrap or spread it out flat in a plastic bag and refrigerate it until firm. Remove it from the fridge. Roll it into tablespoon-sized balls. And this filling is firm enough that you can cover them in chocolate right away, so just cover them in tempered white chocolate. And sprinkle some shredded coconut on top of them before the chocolate sets. And I'm also drizzling some yellow-colored chocolate on top of them. And that's how to make lemon coconut truffles. Next, we have strawberry shortcake truffles, a vanilla cake pop mixture made with whipped cream and a center of more whipped cream and strawberry filling. First, you're going to need some cake or cupcakes. I'll put a link to the recipe I'm using in the description box. To make the strawberry filling, wash the strawberries. Cut off the green part and dice them. Add the diced strawberries into a small saucepan and add in the sugar, lemon juice, and cornstarch. Place the saucepan onto the stove over medium heat and heat it until it comes to a boil and it thickens, stirring it so it heats evenly. Once it's thick, keep stirring it over the heat for another minute or two until it becomes almost transparent. Then remove it from the heat. Pour it into a small mason jar and place it into the fridge until it's cold. To make the whipped cream, we're first going to make a paste to stabilize the whipped cream and help it to last longer. To make it, in a small saucepan, add in the sugar and cornstarch. Whisk them until combined. Then add in the heavy cream. Whisk until combined. And place it onto the stove over medium heat and heat it until it boils and thickens, whisking it the whole time so you don't get lumps. Once it's thick, remove it from the heat and let it cool completely. You can place it into the fridge to let it cool faster. Then in a small bowl, add in more heavy cream and vanilla extract. And whip them with an electric mixer until soft peaks form. Try not to whip it to stiff peaks. Then add in the cooled paste and continue whipping until it forms stiff peaks and the paste is well mixed into the whipped cream. Try not to over-whip it or the mixture can split. Add some of the cake or cupcakes into a small bowl and crumble them up. Add in some of the whipped cream and mix it in using your hands until the mixture is the consistency of soft Play-Doh. Adding more whipped cream if it's too dry, and add more cake crumbs if it's too soft. Roll the mixture into tablespoon-sized balls. Flatten each ball. Add a smear of the whipped cream and a small spoon of the strawberry filling. A little goes a long way. Try not to add too much. Close it up. Squeeze it between each hand. Roll it into a ball and keep going for the rest of them. Place them into the fridge until firm. Don't place them into the freezer. Cover them in tempered white chocolate and let them set. And decorate them how you like. And that's how to make strawberry shortcake truffles. And last we have strawberry passion fruit truffles, a delicious fruity truffle with real strawberry and passion fruit flavors. Wash the strawberries. Cut off the green part. Add them into a food processor or blender. Then cut the top off of the passion fruits. Scoop out the inside into a liquid measuring cup. And keep going until you have a little more than half a cup. We will be straining this after blending it, so there will be no seeds or pulp in this truffle. For everything you need to know about passion fruits, check out my passion fruit mousse cake, and I explain everything you need to know about them in that video. Add it into the food processor or blender, and blend them until they're well blended. Pour the mixture through a fine sieve into a small saucepan. Keep pushing through as much liquid as possible. And place the saucepan onto the stove over medium-high heat and heat it until the mixture boils. Once it's boiling, keep it boiling until it reduces and thickens. If you're not sure how much it has reduced because it can bubble up quite a bit, you can pick up the saucepan and swirl it around to see how much it has reduced. And you need to keep it boiling until there's only 2 tablespoons of liquid left. So pour it into a liquid measuring cup, and if it measures more than 2 tablespoons, pour it back into the saucepan and keep boiling it longer. Doing it this way helps to concentrate the mixture into a small amount of liquid so we can put the most flavor into the truffles without using too much liquid. Once it's reduced and thick like this, you can take it off the heat. Add in the white chocolate and mix it until it's all melted. Pour it into a small bowl or spread it out flat in a plastic bag. And refrigerate it until it's firm. Remove it from the fridge. Roll it into tablespoon-sized balls. And this filling is firm enough to dip in chocolate right away, so cover them in tempered white chocolate. Let it set. And decorate them how you like. And that's how to make strawberry passion fruit truffles. And that's homemade chocolate truffles in 15 different flavors, part 5. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give this video a like and check out my channel for many more videos and subscribe to my channel for more to come. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.